Now, I would just like to issue a warning before this video begins. Just because we think these films are overrated, it doesn't necessarily mean that we hate these films. I know a lot of people in my real life. I've got a lot of good friends who actually love the film that I've chosen. So, yeah, I'm just putting this warning out here because if the coronavirus doesn't kill me, then my very good friends who love the film that I've picked will. Pray for me.
Hello and welcome back to the Movies and Milk 30 Day Film Challenge. Today, both myself and Michael will be discussing the films that we truly believe are among some of the most overrated films of all time. Given today's very subjective question, we do ask that you are very polite in the comments, because I know for a fact my choice in particular, and you can probably already see what I'm going to be talking about, is going to be the most controversial of the two of us. And so I would personally love to dedicate this video to a very handsome young man, Mr. Jack Lennox. And the film I will be talking about today is The Shawshank Redemption. Now, I am absolutely not claiming that this is a bad film, because it's not, and if anyone were to say The Shawshank Redemption was a bad film, would be absolutely incorrect, because it's awful. It's not awful at all. I just so happen to find myself within the minority of people who just don't get that much entertainment from the film. And each and every time I try to give it a chance, I try to understand why this film is considered the best film ever made. This film had been hyped up so much that when I did come to watch the film, I had it stored in my mind that this would in fact be the best film ever made. And after having watched it for the first time, I just completely disagreed with that statement. So I guess that you could argue that the biggest problem with The Shawshank Redemption is that I just have a massive complex with it. That and the title of it being the greatest film ever made. However, The Shawshank Redemption has proven time after time that people love this film, critics love the film, and very much like all the biggest decisions that we will ever make in our life, a majority vote is a solidified element of that. Roger Deakins is the cinematographer here, and he is one of my all-time favourite cinematographers, and primarily the reason why I first got into cinematography in the first place. Every frame in this film is stitched perfectly together, and in correlation with the editing, it makes for a very beautiful film. Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman also offer very, very impressive central performances. For me personally, as someone who doesn't quite enjoy the film as much, their central performances are the reasons as to why I watch this film in repeated viewings. But I am afraid that other than that, it just doesn't really do much for me at all. I forgot the milk again. That's me there. That's me back there. In conclusion, The Shawshank Redemption is a film that is beloved throughout the world, and understandably, of course, a majority of people really do love this film. However, as I've mentioned several times, I just unfortunately lie in that very small minority of people who don't quite enjoy the film. If you agree with me, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Please don't make me feel like I'm the only one. Please! And it's now that time again to pass you into the very capable hands of Mr. Michael McGorry, so Michael, take it away.
Right, there's no point beating around the bush. It's Rocky Horror Picture Show. I know. I'm sorry to startle you, ladies and gents, but it's true. I just don't get it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think in the right environment, say if I went and saw this film in a theatre with a bunch of people who absolutely adore this film, I think I would get a much more fulfilling experience out of it. But having only watched the film once in the house by myself, I just have to be honest with you. I don't get the love. There are some absolute bangers in there, like Time Warp is a proper party tune, Sweet Transvestite is catchy as all hell, Hot Patootie is an excellent Meatloaf tune, and I find myself just at random points in my everyday life just blotting out the chorus to Over at the Frankenstein Place. I mean, I listen to the soundtrack every Halloween. It's not the soundtrack that's the issue. I think the primary issue is that I hadn't seen this film until just over a year ago, and before I sat down and watched it, I had heard for years that Tim Curry's performance is absolutely excellent. And yes, that is very much the case, but he does not appear in the film until like midway through, and I just found myself throughout the entire first half of the movie like, right, give me some curry. I want some curry in my mouth. I was making an analogy of the fact that curry is a dish. I didn't mean I actually wanted Tim Curry in my. So yes, I just found the first half of Rocky Horror Picture Show to be unbelievably boring. And even when Tim Curry did eventually arrive, I think I'd already lost interest by that point. I mean, again, I have only seen the film once, and I watched it over a year ago. So maybe if I watched it again, I might get it. And I do full-heartedly understand why theatre kids would love this film, especially with its message of being yourself and not being afraid of what you are. I think that is a message that we could very much be doing with in this day and age. And I do appreciate the fact that they don't feel the need to just say the message to the audience as if we're a bunch of child. As if we're a bunch of child. Yeah. And I do appreciate the fact that they don't feel the need to actually outwardly say that message to the audience as if we're a bunch of children. There isn't a point in the film in which Tim Curry turns to the camera and says, I'm me. This is me. What the fuck am I even talking about? But I even know a few non-theatre kids that love this film, and I'm just like, right, okay, I'm sorry, I just don't get it. If I'm ever feeling inclined to watch a horror comedy musical, I'm far more likely to watch Little Shop of Horrors long before watching Rocky Horror Picture Show. And yeah, I do understand that it has its fans, but I'm sorry. By the way, if you haven't seen Little Shop of Horrors, I full-heartedly recommend this one. It's very good. Very, very good. There's a light over at the Frankenstein place. See, I tell you, it's just set in nature. And that's the end of another video. We really hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like if you did and subscribe to the channel, as well as leave a little comment in the comment section down below a film that you find to be highly overrated. And if you wish to take part in this 30-day movie challenge yourself, you can find the template over on the Movies and Milk Instagram. That's at Movies and Milk on Instagram. It's fairly simple. Again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, don't do anything stupid, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 12. We are flying through this. This is easy.